I'm going to introduce you to a new term which is very similar to height, and it's called altitude. The height of a triangle can also be called its altitude. It's a line segment running from the vertex, which is the tippy top of the triangle, straight down perpendicular to the base. So if I were to ask you to draw the altitude of this triangle, you would start at the vertex and make your way down. Everybody do that. And it's got to form a right angle at the base. Just like that. And then, right, make the little indication that you've created a 90-degree angle. That automatically is going to make this a 90-degree angle, right? So by drawing the altitude, we've created two right triangles. Do you agree?
Yes.
Let's make believe this is triangle 1 and call this triangle 2. And even though they don't give you the measurements of the base or the height, in theory, how would you figure out the area of that triangle? What would you have to do? Think about it, because it builds on what we did yesterday.
Me or them?
Probably. That has something to do with it. Base times height divided by 2, but then what do you have to do? Somebody just said it. Add what?
Add both the areas of one.
Right. Do you agree we've made two right triangles?
Yes.
How would you find the area of just this triangle, right triangle number 1? Base times height divided by 2. How would you find the area of triangle 2? And then what would you have to do to get the whole triangle? Add it together. Do you understand that idea? Okay. As you will see, and we're actually going to do that because I'm going to give you a triangle now that has actual measurements, but then I'm going to show you the shortcut. The reason why we do it this way is I want to show you that breaking it up into two right triangles will get you the same answer as the shortcut I'm going to show you. All right? So kind of what we just said. Two right triangles are created. Yeah, Tyler, go ahead.
What if you didn't have the measurement of the line that divides them into two right triangles?
You would actually have to measure it with a ruler, but you'll see on tests they always give you that measurement. And again, by the way, what's the name of this triangle before you broke it up? Acute triangle, right? All right. When you do the altitude or the height of an acute triangle, the altitude is always going to be on the inside of the triangle. When we do the obtuse triangle, I think that's example 2, you will see that the altitude has to be drawn outside of the triangle. Okay? All right, let's go to the next page. Example 1. Now I've given you measurements for everything. Let's call this triangle, right triangle 1. Call this right triangle number 2. All I want you guys to do right now is find the area of triangle 1 on your own because you've done it. You could probably do 2 also, but just do 1. I want to make sure we're on the right track. So everybody do that while I hit pause over here and I'll walk around. So as long as you've substituted everything correctly and done the math, just for triangle 1 you get 40, raise your hand if you got 45 square centimeters. Okay, how many of you finished triangle 2? All right, if you haven't, just to speed it up a little bit, let's just do it because it's the same idea, just different base, different height. Same height, actually. All right, Kelly, in this case, what was the base?
12.
Right, everybody see why it's 12? There's my 12. My height is still what? If I want to knock out, what would I knock out?
2 and...
Pick one, doesn't matter. Just don't pick both. And then 6 times 10. And we got 60 for the second triangle. Okay, but we're still not done. That's each individual right triangle. What would I have to do to get the entire triangle? Right. What do you get when you add them?
105 centimeters squared.
Okay. Here's the shortcut. Looking back at the original triangle, forget about the altitude or height for a minute. What is the length of the entire base of that triangle? Got to do a little mental math.
101 centimeters squared. You're wrong.
Got to raise your hand. Ryan,
21 centimeters.
how'd you get 21?
You added 9 plus 12.
Right, the entire base would be the two individual bases added together. What's your height still?
10.
Still 10. So let's try and see if we get the same 105 using one formula. A equals base times height divided by 2 as always. In this case, our base is what? Now you can say that out loud. The whole thing was 21. The height was? What can you knock out? Make things easier. I want you to do that because it makes it easier, then you don't have to worry about the division. What does it become? 21 times 5, and tell me what you get. Maxie, what'd you get? It works out. Okay?
Wait, why not? Got the X.
Raise your hand if you think this is pretty easy. What you have to be careful with, which we're going to do now, is example 2, because obtuse triangles can be a little tricky. Go to example 2. Don't tune out, though, because this is where kids have difficulty. When you have an obtuse triangle, sometimes the altitude has to be drawn outside of the triangle. Now, if you look at this, these dotted lines, for right now, ignore the dotted lines. Our triangle that we're trying to find the area of is the bold-faced triangle. Okay? The bold line triangle. Forget the dotted lines for a minute. We're going to need them, but they're not part of the triangle. What is the most difficult part with obtuse triangles, because you'll see this, is there are numbers here that we need and numbers we don't need. The numbers we don't need are called the distractors. Okay? So, looking at this, what's the base of that triangle? Because I've heard all sorts of different answers today. Aiden.
I know, 10.
How many say 10? Something else. How many say 30? Something else. How many say 42? Something else. How many say 24? See how we're all over the place? This is the hardest part. If you do what I tell you, forget the dotted lines right now. The base of the triangle is 24. Okay?
No.
All right? That's the hardest part, is getting the numbers to substitute into the equation. Okay? Next question, what's the height? Or the altitude? Bridge. How many say 8? Yeah, that's usually a little bit easier for you guys. It is 8. Therefore, the distractors, the numbers we don't need, are 10, 42, and 6. The numbers we do need are your 24 and your 8. Let's do it. Substitute it in and tell me what you get. Because once you find those numbers, I think that you guys can do it. It's just using math. And use knockout if you have to. It'll make it even easier. Anybody have an answer yet? Roar, what'd you get?
Oh my.
How much? Not 8. Emma? 12 times 8 is 96 inches squared. Open up your agendas. I'm going to tell you what your homework is. It's going to be 24 times 4 will still get you 96.
Yeah, but
It'll still work.
I got that, but I didn't.
You knocked out the 2 and the 8. That's okay. Doesn't matter. Just don't knock them both out. All right, ready? Advanced and regular are doing 2 different things, so be careful here. You only have to write down what applies to you. For regular, and listen, guys, I just a word of advice for those of you that have not been doing your homework. You got to start doing it. Okay? I want to see 100% of you guys at least attempting this. All right, regular, you're doing 6, 7, and 8 pages. Yeah, make sure it's pages. Advanced, pages 7 and 9. No 8, because 9's challenging. 9 will keep you busy. It'll keep you running around in circles for a little bit. Have a great day. That's your homework, yeah.